All right, we're winging it here. Got a new setup. Hopefully things are coming across. All right, let's see who's here. GH is here. Good morning, GH. Hey, Doug. Happy Monday to you. Let's see who else is here. Oh, I just realized I might. Okay. Leland's here. How about this new setup? Things are looking all right. Hopefully this works for me as well as for you guys. Good morning. I forgot. I don't know if the stream was going yet, but good morning, GH and Doug and Leland and Joseph and Chris. BFET, got your English breakfast in hand, ready to discuss things leather. Oh, my coffee's across the room. I better go get it. Good to see you guys. All right, we got a new setup, so hopefully I don't have to move around and stuff. And in addition, I'll be able to see the chat. All right, let's look at some stuff that has been ordered over the last weekend here. And there was a private stock baseball that's pretty funky. And this one's really neat. Let's see if I can show it to you. Whiskey shell cordovan with this alternating teal and orange stitching, which is pretty special. We don't do too many shell cordovan baseballs, but when we do them, they're either made to order or for private stock. This one was a private stock, and we got funky with the colors. Doing some alternating hand stitching is pretty fun. Also, I got a bunch of other wallets here. We got some video quality updates. Yeah, you love the shirt, my Metallica shirt. I'm doing my juvenile look today, so looking for some critical feedback on my attire today. All right, I wanted to show you some Bugs Moran. We have two different things I wanted to highlight. The first being, and we can make the Bugs Moran with two different types of card orientations. This is our traditional card layout here with two card slots on each side. The larger two slots will fit US dollars folded in half. We also have a variation that is known as the vertical Bugs Moran, if I can find it. In fact, let's do apples to apples here. We've got the traditional card slots on the natural shell, and then here is the vertical card slots also on natural shell. They're the exact same size, but the vertical card slots have 3 card holders on each side. There's 2 vertical ones with a hidden slot underneath. I find the traditional card slots to be a little easier to use, and I think that's because I put so many cards inside of each slot that it makes it a little bit easier that way. I think if you're using like 1, maybe 2 cards in a slot, the vertical is probably it's preferable because you can sort of segment out where each card goes in a way that the traditional card slot one with 4 card holders doesn't allow you to do that so much. So we got Blue Cypress. This is the other thing I wanted to show you is there's everything on the table right now, and you can't see the whole view. There's a lot of stuff here, and they're all individual pieces. So we have like a wide variety of things that are going out, which is really great. But what I wanted to highlight a little bit was this brand new Cypress leather, which we're talking about with the royal blue here. So royal blue Cypress. We also have the brown Cypress. I'll show you those and compare those in a second. Here's English Tan Dublin on a Bugs Moran also, and we have black shell cordovan on a Bugs Moran with the black hand stained edges, which I really love. I should also mention everything we're about to look at still needs to get through our finishing process. Oh my God, I just shook the camera like crazy. Sorry about that. So everything we still need to finish up. So you might see some like little things that need to get polished, which is appropriate because we haven't polished them yet. Here is the brown Cypress, and we're hustling pretty hard to work up some more Cypress pieces. And I don't know if you saw the video from last week with my brother Matt's Fat Herbie in the brown Cypress, but it looks incredible. I really like how his has worn in. It's become really bright and shiny and super, super smooth. I also wore one of these Cypress pieces. This is the Fat Herbie in Royal Blue Cypress that I found to be incredibly resilient. So you can scratch it, you can scuff it. Those scratches and scuffs tend to wear in and just blend in with normal use. So I tried mine out on vacation. I really wanted to see how hard wearing it could be. And I put it in a bag with some keys and it got scratched to hell, but those scratches just naturally removed themselves as I wore it. And that's because the Royal Blue Cypress here, I'm not sure I love this hand camera angle here. Let me fix that. All right. This maybe is better. Just like so much stuff in front of me, though. All right. What I'm trying to say is the Royal Blue Cypress is finished with a very hard wax on the surface that makes it really resilient. So when it's scratched, you're just abrading the wax layer on the surface. And as it's worn, the polishing action from just wearing it fills in those scratches naturally. It's really amazing, the new Cypress here. So we got the royal blue, the brown. Hopefully we got some more Cypress colors coming in the future. I mentioned in the past that I wanted to do some gray. And then it seems like we have just about one of each of our styles going out in the royal blue Cypress today. I'll try to dig at this guy. Now these turned out great. This is our traditional bifold, the Johnny the Fox. And with all this on the inside, this just matching everything, it's really, really clean. So I'm digging. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I forgot to turn that off. Okay, sorry about that. I think I fixed it. All right, so blue cypress. Yeah, this is the blue cypress, Trevor. And we've ordered in several thicknesses. So you'll notice on this wallet, there's so many layers of leather. You might be able to notice. All the card holders are actually made out of a thinner leather, which we prescribed and special ordered from the tannery to be thinner. And I find just because of all the layers of leather in here, that it's the perfect thickness now. So we have a little bit of a thicker part for the exterior. It's about an ounce thicker than all the leather on the inside. Do you know which Western cordovan you guys on hand? I don't know. D. Schaefer. I got to pull this chat farther, closer. All right, we got the chat closer. Do you know which Western cordovan you have on hand? I don't. So if you want to find out, though, I almost knocked over all my stuff here. Just send us an email, info@ashlandleather.com, and Matt or I will go down and look through all our stock and just tell you what we have. We have some Venetian shoe cream going out today. This is a polish that Horween uses on every piece of shell cordovan. So they package it up and then sell it in these glass jars, which I think they might be switching over to a different non-glass material soon. Sounds like glass, right? Maybe you can't hear it. I think they might be switching over to plastic just to save on shipping costs. But the glass is what we have for now. All right, there's some other watch bands here too. Tons of stuff that I think is good to show because we haven't had it for a while. So this is a black shell cordovan 20 millimeter two-piece watch strap, and these are unlined straps. We also have a 22 millimeter watch band here. So the lug width on this guy is about 2 millimeters wider than on this guy, which maybe I can show you there. Kind of tough to see, but it's slightly more narrow. 20 is the most popular watch band that we tend to see for the lug widths, and all of our straps have a 2 millimeter taper. So in the case of the 22 millimeter strap here, this tapers from 22 at the lugs, and then 20 down at the hardware end, at the buckle end. I don't know why I can't speak today. But there's a 2 millimeter taper on our straps. We can make it in two different lengths. These are both we call it normal length, 120 millimeters by 80 millimeters. I have a customer I have to respond to that you may have seen the last week. We had a marbled cigar shell strap, and they got that strap already, and they would like to have the shorter one. So we're gonna make them a shorter one too. All right. Thanks, Trevor. I like the blue cypress too. D. Schaefer says, I want to get a custom Capone made and want some Western print. We can do that for you, man. That's my favorite texture that Horween does. All right, here's a less expensive two-piece strap. This is an English tan Dublin watch band. And these have been very, very popular. I think we have just a couple of these left too. And we did also restock a bunch of Apple watch bands. So we have several natural shell cordovan Apple watch bands going out today. There's two different types of hardware that we can do for the Apple watch band. This is the black finish. And that's actually what I have on mine right now too. Most people want to match it to the watch itself. And with the new Apple Watch Ultra that has come out, we've been seeing a lot more silver hardware being purchased. And that silver hardware that we do matches or complements the titanium watch very nicely. The other thing that people have been picking up a lot of are these guys here. And I've got a bunch. Oop, maybe I should start showing it on this camera. I got a bunch of Valet trays going out. This one here is black Chrome Excel, but we've seen a ton of Color 8 Chrome Excel Valet trays being ordered over the weekend, and all those are going to send out today. Oh, did the camera just turn off? Oh my God. This camera is not supposed to turn off. Damn. Oh, there's always something. All right, black Chrome Excel Valet tray. You'll notice that this is finished on both sides. So the grain side of the Chrome Excel is the side that will sit on the table, and then they finish in the flesh side with a little bit of an additional color layer, a little stain coat, and then some resin on the top, make it a little bit more smooth and compact. This is an XL Valet tray underneath, also in the black Chrome Excel. And we got some more black Chrome Excel. I think these were just ordered like 20 minutes ago. This is a keychain belt clip in the black Chrome Excel with our antique brass hardware. We got the snap closure here. And then this is a little bit of a thicker key ring that I don't think I talk enough about, but I really like the key rings on our keychain belt clip. And this customer has also picked up our Chicago comb in the carbon fiber. We sell these with the English tan sheaths, and it fits in there just like this. And then let's look at the XL tray. It's just like a huge piece of Chrome Excel. Chrome Excel the size of your head. So the Chrome Excel here, it's really nice to see when it's in just like a massive chunk and finish on both sides. You can see a little bit of that natural edge, which I think, like I talk about a lot, it sort of frames everything out. And I think it looks really, really nice. So we got black Chrome Excel going out today, as well as the Color 8, which is, again, like, I can't remember the last time we sold so many Valet trays, but people have been really picking up the Color 8 XL Valet trays in particular, this guy. And that's a huge piece of Color 8 Chrome Excel. It's the dark brown burgundy shade. I'll show you in this light because I think it's a little bit more accurate than on the table. Let's compare them. So see how light that is on this secondary camera? It's a lot darker in person, like you can see in my hand. It's interesting how these lights just like blast the color and change it. But there is a very nice depth of color that you might be able to see on both pieces. So see where the leather is sort of folded over and the color has become a little bit lighter here. And you can even see it on the table down here on those little corners. That's something that's called the pull-up effect. And Chrome Excel is very famous for this effect. Maybe I just use the one camera going forward. Chrome Excel is really famous for that pull-up. And what you're seeing is the waxes and oils that were tanned inside of this leather getting displaced. And it's become a little bit lighter as we push them out of the way. If you fold it back and then sort of burnish it, you'll move the waxes and oils back into place and it becomes dark again. It's sort of like a fun magic trick. But it's really cool to see people picking up these huge pieces of Chrome Excel on the XL Valet trays. They're also finished on both sides. So we've got the Color 8 stain. Here, I'll show it in the better light. We've got the Color 8 stain on the grain side and the Color 8 stain on the flesh side with that resin coat I was talking about. It gives it a nice clean look. So those Valet trays are made out of leather that's the same thickness that we use for watch bands. It's about 6 ounces thick. We also go heavier for something like the belts here. And for belts on English Tan Dublin and the Chrome Excel, all the belts behind me, these are all made out of naturally thick pieces of steer hide. And they're around 9 ounces thick. And it's about as thick as leather can get on a consistent basis. So we love these for unlined belts. It's tough to get a thick piece of leather, which might not seem too big of a deal if you're not buying a bunch of leather, but it is not as easy as it seems. And then especially getting a custom stuff made like English Tan Dublin here, and then the Chrome Excel that we're about to look at, it's special. All right, here's a brown Chrome Excel belt. Maybe I'll show you. I guess you can kind of see it behind me too. The brown Chrome Excel is much more subtle of a color in this camera. And then let's actually, maybe we can show you both ways. Here. The color difference. And then if you flex it, you can see it becomes a little bit lighter for that pull-up. And we do retain the pull-up on thicker, heavier weights as well. The only color of Chrome Excel that doesn't really change too much is the black Chrome Excel. That doesn't have much of a pull-up at all. And this is a size 32. We've got a bunch of brown Chrome Excel and English 10 Dublin belts going out today, and I really appreciate you guys picking them up. On the adjustment side, all these holes, we have 7 different teardrop shaped holes, which I think makes it just a little bit more unique without being too like overt. It's a little bit more of a subtle change to a belt. There's only so much you can do. It's just a strip of leather with a buckle attached to it. I still gotta. All right, send all your questions in the chat. I need to still find a solution for reading the chat closer because it's still like too far for me to actually read. I've got this little iPad here, but it's like if I put it down, it's too far to read. But please leave your chats. Any questions that you guys have, I would love to answer your questions. That's my favorite part. Looks like we got a Capone money clip going out today in English tan Dublin. Here's a natural shell cordovan Tony the Ant, and I want to talk about the Tony the Ant for a second. If you have a bunch of stuff, I don't suggest. Here, let's put it up in this camera. I need like a camera operator to like zoom in on the wallet. But if you have a bunch of stuff, I don't recommend the Tony the Ant. Like if you have a ton of cash and a ton of cards, this might not be the best option for you. Let me change the camera here. See if we can do it with one cam. How about that? The magic of the internet. Who's drinking coffee, by the way? Okay. Let's see if I can do this here. Voila. All right. Natural shell cordovan on the Tony the Ant. I was saying you don't want to put a ton of stuff in here. I think on the Tony the Ant, 2 to 3 cards in a slot is good. But if you use 3 cards in each slot, it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome to get cash inside of the bill slot on the outside of this wallet, especially when it's brand new. Once it's worn in and you've broken it in, these things wear in great and they will conform to everything you put inside. So I do sometimes see customers getting a little frustrated with the Tony the Ant, saying like, yeah, this is not for me. It might not be. But if you wanted to give it a shot, you might have to give it a week or two to let that leather sort of ease up and then start to conform around everything you put inside. I would say 10 bills and 8 to 12 cards is good for the Tony the Ant. It's a little bit more of a smaller form factor than the Fat Herbie, which I recommend fully. So people that have not worn a Herbie, and if you wear a wallet in a back pocket, this is not a Herbie, but it's kind of, I thought it was. This is not the Herbie. Here's a Herbie. Fat Herbie is the same aesthetic as that Tony the Ant with the bill slot on the back, but we have a different, it's taller. It's of roughly the size of a passport when it's folded like this. Now, the cool thing about the Herbie is it's the thinnest wallet possible. Yeah, maybe not possible is not the right word. It's the thinnest wallet that you can wear because of the card layout on the inside. Now, we could make it, and we have some private stock, thin pieces of stone horsehide Herbies available right now. Those are about as thin as it gets. But the reason I bring up the thickness as a relevant point is because of the card layout. It's spreading out all of your cards over more surface area. So if you put it, fold it, and put it in your back pocket, this will lay thinner than any other wallet, including the Fat Herbie or including the Tony the Ant or the Johnny the Fox. Because you're stacking all of your cards on top of each other here, this thing really bulks up quickly, and it's a little bit more like sitting on like a baseball or softball, where the Herbie spreads it all out. And that's why I like the Herbie. I don't know why I ever started wearing a wallet in my back pocket, but I always have worn it in my back pocket. I prefer the Herbie over everything else. It's just easier to use too. I had this pulled out for a second thinking it was the Herbie. This is our traveler passport holder in natural shell cordovan. I thought it was the Herbie because it looks pretty similar. It looks like a Herbie right here with that exterior bill slot, but it's a slight bit taller than the normal Fat Herbie, and we did that to more easily accommodate a passport on the inside right here. This is like a little flap that you can slide a passport inside of. And then we have 2 card holders on the inside left. And then the back, this again is like the best part of this wallet, is it's so easy to get cash inside and out of the back bill slot. And I love it for that reason. So the other big thing, if you're traveling, you got a passport, different countries have different size paper currency. And oh my God, something is blowing up in my ear. Different countries have different paper currency, and the traveler passport holder will fit all of them. So we also have one in color 8 shell cordovan going out today. I think that the hand stained edges that you can see here are incredibly nice on all of our color 8 pieces and all of our black shell cordovan pieces. I love the black and color 8 hand stained edges. Let me show you each of those now. Johnny the Fox, black shell cordovan here. Super bright, shiny luster. This is what you want to see in shell cordovan. And then all of the edges are that black hand staining, which gives it like a really, really clean look, including all the tops of the card slots. Everything is black on this guy, with the exception of the bill slot. Maybe I can show you that. Inside of here, that's the reverse side of black shell cordovan. And it's like a little bit more of a greenish shade. That's the only thing that's not black on that wallet. And then the color 8 here, boom, 100% color 8 edges, color 8 on the outside. The bill slot on this guy is like a little bit more of like an orangey tan. Looks like we got a nice like Horween ink stamp on this one. But I love how the edges look on all the hand stained black and color 8 stuff. All right, I'm kind of digging this camera angle. It's a little bit more work to like lift things up and go like this, but it works. Here's a Fat Herbie, also in color 8, similar to the Traveler passport holder. See the difference there? If I line them up next to each other, the Traveler is just a tiny bit taller. And again, we did that to more easily accommodate a passport inside of here. But otherwise, it's pretty similar wallet. Here's another Traveler going out today in English tan Dublin. These are beautiful. And if you haven't experienced the Dublin in person, it's a very nice, naturally appearing leather that wears in great. So anybody that's looking for patina, I normally push them towards English tan Dublin. If they've never tried a leather from Horween before, I usually suggest starting here. And then once you get your feet wet and you're starting to get more and more into the leathers, then you can move up to shell cordovan. And I suggest the natural shell or like raw natural shell for really developing a great patina. Here's another Cypress piece that I was really excited about. Brown Cypress. And like I said, we're just starting to get these restocked. And in particular, the foxes are turning out great. I was showing you the blue one earlier. These are both the same leathers, just with different stains applied to them. But I'm really excited about how nicely they're turning out. Just super, super clean. There's something about the Cypress that's like a little bit more uniform and consistent. And it gives it like a slight bit of like, how do I put it? It's a little less of it's still like a heritage sense, but it's like a little bit more like wearing wingtip shoes as opposed to like a work boot. I don't know if that's like a decent analogy, but I really enjoy how these are looking. We also do a little staining on the edges of the brown Cypress. A couple more wallets. Black Dublin. This is the most interesting black leather around, in my opinion. Most black leathers are just super heavily finished and painted. The Black Dublin, you might even be able to see it from this far away, has like a nice bit of grain character to it, where most black leathers just look super flat and boring. I don't love it. Some people like it, but the Black Dublin is the only black leather I find that has any character. Here's another brown Cypress piece. This time it's the Vertical Bugs Moran. I think these were just restocked too. We got another Tony in English tan Dublin. Really beautiful. We also do a light hand staining on the English tan Dublin as well. Maybe I can show it better closer to my face. And our most popular wallet, English tan Dublin, Johnny the Fox. I got to figure out this new camera angle. This kind of works. English tan Dublin, beautiful. Love it for patina. Love the natural character on it. Then we got some minimalist stuff here. This is a Frank the Enforcer in color 8 shell cordovan. We do the same hand stained edges on this guy, and we do it on the Capone too. What's the most amount of bills you carried in a Herbie? I haven't really counted it, but maybe like 30 bills in there. Here's a Capone money clip in color 8 shell cordovan. Same thing here. That natural, well, not natural. It's a hand stained, waxed and burnished edge. Sometimes we do a natural waxed and burnished edge. Let's see if I have one that kind of looks like a finished piece of wood. I don't really have any right now. We got a couple more minimalist things though. Here's a vault key holder in dark green shell cordovan. Still need to polish this guy up and then apply or attach the hardware screw posts to there. I did see we have a couple of those left. I think this might be one of the last ones left of our all reverse color 8 Frank the Enforcers. You can see on this guy, we've barely started working on the edges, so we still need to bevel this guy down, do a little bit of waxing and burnishing before we send that out. Here's another Frank the Enforcer in English tan Dublin. This one you can't see, maybe. Still need a secondary camera, I think. But the edges on this are nicely finished. A little bit of additional color imparted there to give it just a very clean look. Now here's an interesting one. This is a 2-shot card case in English tan Dublin. The 2-shot card case does not fit cash as nicely as the Frank the Enforcer. And let me show you these. So the 2-shot here is just slightly shorter than the Frank. The Frank the Enforcer here has one large compartment in the center that is designed for US dollars folded in half. And you can see that the 2-shot is more minimalist. It's smaller, it's shorter. And you can't fit cash inside of this guy unless you fold it into thirds. And we have a key fob black Chromexol going out today. I like the key fobs with the antique copper hardware. And it was, I think, one of our last small zips. We need to get to work and restock these too. All of our small zips are pretty challenging to create, but these are a gusseted card case. It's like a zipper wallet that expands like that. And it has a very nice Riri zipper on the outside, which I didn't realize how big of a deal Riri zippers were until people started telling me like, oh, I'm so glad you used Riri. We just tried a bunch of different zippers and I really liked the feel of this particular Riri, which is why we made them with it. This is a little bit of a smaller Riri zipper. It's a size 4. We also purchased some size 6 Riri zippers. The 4, there's something about the 4 that just feels better than the 6 and the YKK stuff. Anyways, I love the small zip, and sometimes I'll just sit there like doing the slider just because it's so satisfying to slide around. And it looks like the last wall of the day, Capone money clip in black shell cordovan. Got that same hand stained edge here, and then the black on the inside. What's different about this guy, see in the inside center for these parts where the hardware is, normally it's not that black. Normally it's green on the reverse side of the black shells. So this one's pretty different. I don't normally see it with the black on both sides. It's pretty nice to see. So that one's like fully blacked out. All right, I'm looking over at the chat now, and let's see what you guys got for me. Let's see if there's any comments on this Metallica shirt. I have a story about this Metallica shirt that I love. When I was a kid, I really liked Metallica, and I was mowing lawns and delivering newspapers and earning my own money. And I really wanted this exact shirt. And my mom, I bought it with all my lawnmower money. And my mom did not like that it had a skull on it. It's got a skull. It's like a flaming skull. I think it's awesome. She did not like it and she threw it out, and I was so upset. And then a couple years ago, I reminded her of that, and then she bought me this one. So now I have it again. That's my story about the Metallica shirt. All right. Oh, man, there's a lot of good chat here. I'm going back to the top. Pokemon Rocks 5 got here. Johnny the Fox on Friday. You're loving it. That's awesome to hear. What's up, Russ Bucket? Drinking coffee. It reminded me. Matt says, you're always late to the party. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. I love everybody saying hi in the chat. Chris Diaz is here. Trevor. Yeah, that was the blue Cypress we were looking at earlier. I think this week's theme is going to be Cypress. Because like I said, we are hustling to restock all those. So at the end of this week, I might blast your email inbox with some news about Cypress. I guess not news. We're just trying to restock them. So I don't want to build that up too high. D. Schaefer was asking about Western Cordovan. So just anything that you guys want that you don't see on the website, it's possible we have it. because we collect the leathers. I love cordovan, I love chrome excel, I love Dublin, I love leathers. So I will collect all sorts of stuff. So if you've seen something in a private stock video or like a made to order video, please don't hesitate to ask for it, because odds are we can make that for you. And if you're asking about Western shell, I know we have some. I don't know off the top of my head what colors we have. So just send my brother Matt an email. It's info@ashlandleather.com and he can go take a look. You want to get a custom capone made out of the Western, that's a good choice. PRP2 says you have used Gator, boxboard, and Western prints primarily, starting string print only once or so. What other prints do you think would be fun to experiment with? Wow. I remember when I was working at the tannery, Skip bought a ton of embossing plates from a business that went away. And I remember sorting through all of them with him. I think there's some stuff in there that's like really weird. Like there's one that's called a brand plate that looks like all sorts of different brandings, for like iron brandings that they would brand onto animals. And it's just like random throughout that. I think that's like a little too far, but there is one that actually cuts holes through the leather called a perforation. So there's a perforation print that I think if we were creative about it, we could make some pretty cool stuff with the perf print. G17, I don't know if we have brown nut Dublin, but I think we might. So you can, again, send my brother a message on that. Don't change your shirt for anyone. Thanks, Chris. PRP2 says, also curious, is Cavalier different? How is it different from Chrome Excel? It's very different. And that's a really good question. The only similarity is sort of the process, like steps, not the actual materials. So both Chrome Excel and Cavalier are hot stuff. So you will get a very nice pull-up effect, which is sort of what Chrome Excel is known for. The big difference is in that stuffing blend of the Cavalier, it's much less oily than the normal Chrome Excel. Therefore, you're able to get brighter colors. So I remember when we developed Cavalier, the idea was to get brighter shades of Chrome Excel, because Chrome Excel is so much oil and wax and grease, like you can kind of only do earth tones. Cavalier was the remedy for that. It also has like a little bit of a different feel as a consequence of having less oil in it. I should mention there is a new podcast episode up today that's sort of similar to this topic. Nick Horwin and I, if you check out Full Grain Podcast, today's episode was about different hide types. You may have seen me do a video on here before comparing like cordovan to bovine to horse to bison. We chat about that it's pretty in depth, and there is a segment in there where we talk about different leather tannages, and Nick was explaining how the tannages are perhaps the most relevant thing to the leather as a whole. So on this topic, you might want to check out Full Grain Podcast, which I recommend anyways. check it out regardless. Pokey on Rocks, how much can the small valet trays hold, like wallets and keys? Well, I have some wallets here. It's not long enough to fit a iPhone, but I have one here. This is our normal valet tray. It's a square. And here's a Herbie. So it's about, a Herbie will fit inside of here. So it's, if I recall, like that's why we picked this shape. It's about the size of a Herbie. And I forget, it's like take a look at the dimensions of the Herbie on the website. Actually, I think I put the dimensions of the valet tray on the website too. So you might want to just take a look there. At home, for me personally, I share a valet tray with my wife. So we use the XL one at our entryway at home and put like 2 sets of keys, 2 sets of wallets, crap in there. We just dump our pockets out in there. So at home, I like to use the XL because it's for 2 people. On my desk in front of me here, I'm using this smaller squared off one for my wallet, for my keys. I have the Herbie. Looks like I've got some pens in there, a highlighter, and I have some sticky notes. So we'll fit a bunch of stuff. It's not necessarily like all visible. It's sort of stacked on top of the sticky notes from what I'm looking at right now. But that's what I use at my work. I use the smaller one. Oh my God. Good question. This is the new Canon, Doug. This is the R6 with the zoom lens. It's the 24-105 f4, which I like. I like it a lot. The video I shot last week called What is Color 8 was also all shot with this camera. It's pretty similar to the other camera I was using, but the zoom lens is the big difference. I like it. Side by side, the XL and regular Valet tray, please. Yeah, you got it. Let's stick with the same colors. Okay, here's the XL tray. And here is the regular tray. So you can see a significant difference. If I put this literally at my face, it's about the size of my head. And this is, smaller. And it fits inside. So give you a good sense here of like what the size is. It's a lot smaller, which is, maybe it's not for everybody. I like the smaller one at home. I like the bigger one I like the smaller one here at work, and I like the bigger one at home. It's a huge difference. Would a small Valet chair hold a Johnny the Fox and a key fob? Yes, absolutely, Pokemon. No dead air. Yeah, not doing great today. Trevor, you discovered us yesterday. One last question. Any plans to make more 5-slot Frank the Enforcers? Private stock one was beautiful. All those, Trevor, will either be made to order or private stock. But so we will make that to order for you. So if we have the leather, we can make you a 5-slot Frank in about 4 to 6 weeks. Coffee number 2 here. I'm on coffee leader number 2. This is the last of my pot, I think. Ooh, tea and Diet Coke. Those are good choices too. I'm a fiend, man. Brandon says, hey, Phil, is the natural Chrome Excel used for the Herbie steer hide or cowhide? Don't know if there's many variations of Chrome Excel. That's a really good question, Brandon. All the leathers that we're using are steer hides. They're to the layperson, it's irrelevant, but to somebody making stuff or to a tannery, the difference between a steer and a cow is highly relevant. The cow's hides do not get as thick as the steer hides, so a belt is never possible on a cow. There's 2 other significant things about the cow hides that are different. The bellies are much more elongated because the cows make babies, and in addition, those bellies tend to be very stretchy. And the cows are older animals than steers. The steers are raised for meat, and they want the meat as fast as possible so they can get their money. The cows, they're milking for a long time. As the animal ages, there's more possibilities for that animal to become scratched and scarred. I'm noticing as I'm getting older, I'm accumulating scratches and scars. It's the same with an animal skin. So the grain clarity tends to be less on cows. So steers are a premium to cows. Thickness, grain clarity, less stretch in the bellies. That's a really good question. And all the stuff we do is steer hide. Iced black coffee. Ooh, Denzel, it's getting warm here. I've got my Panera across the street. I'm going to get an iced coffee after this. D. Schaefer says, how's the stock for Apple Watch bands? I want one of those reverse color 8s. We'd have to make that to order for you again in like 4 weeks. The wallets and the watch straps are selling about as fast as we can make them. So that's something we could just reserve the next for you, D. Schaefer. Denzel T says, getting a Fat Herbie was the best decision you made. Oh, that's awesome. I love the Herbie. It's so different though. So it's like it's hard for me to sell it to people because it looks so unfamiliar. But people that give it a shot and want to try something seem to really like the Herbie. Unless, I haven't had too many people that don't like the Herbie for function. They don't like how big it is. If they don't like it. Can you fit Euros in the Johnny the Fox? Yes. I think there's like a Euro note that's like slightly too, like a millimeter tall. I'm not certain. But, if you email me that, I can make a fake Euro. If you know the dimensions of it, you can email me, phil@ashlandleather.com, and I can make a fake Euro and send you a photo of what it looks like inside of a Fox. Fat Herbie was your first one a month ago, and you've worn it every day. Send it in for the patina wear periodically. Oh, that would be cool. It's the natural shell. Hell yeah. Will the passport holder accommodate field notes book? There's a passport field notes holder design that's up on the site. I think we only have like one color available. And now we have this new traveler passport holder. You know what? I have a field notes here. I don't think the traveler fits field notes. Let's find out here. Okay, I don't think it will. So passport is this size, and the field notes is that size. So you can see field notes is significantly larger, which is why we made the passport field notes holder. So if I were to try to fit this, it's just a little too big for the traveler. You see what I mean? It's just so no, I don't think. And I think there might be a smaller field notes journal that you could buy, but this size, which I think is the most common size, will not fit. Bummer. But we do have a design for that. Oh my God. Good chatting today. What's the most amount of bills I've had in a Herbie? Yeah, I don't think I've ever counted, but like 40. I was really rich for a minute, and now I'm not. What can the small valet tray hold? A wallet and a key fob? Yes. And thanks so much, Pokey on Rocks. Flaming skull shirt is awesome. I always liked it. My mom thought it was satanic, and she didn't want to have a satanic son. Yeah, the only difference, Chris says, I've had many Metallica shirts as a teen. I'm no longer a teen. This is a grown-ass man wearing a Metallica shirt. Joseph Lynn got your Joe Batters and Slate Vintage last week, and you love it. That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Oh, Tremaine Blair is here. Long time no see, buddy. Good to see you. Crispy553 wanted to say thanks. Got a keychain belt clip reverse color 8. I remember that. That's awesome, man. Matt says, is Skip Horween Nick's father, or is it Nick's nickname? Skip Horween is the 4th generation owner of Horween Leather Company. Nick is his son, the 5th generation. So it's father and son. D. Schaefer recently got your Joe Batters in English Tan Dublin. It's beautiful. Those turned out great, didn't they? That's awesome. How are the Natty Shell belts coming along? We've just started those. I saw somebody comment on a YouTube video like, hey, when are those going to be ready? I think we quoted like at least 12 weeks when we originally sold them. So we got a minute. We got a minute before we send those out. At least 4 weeks. I mean, we've started, but there's a lot of belts to make. Hey, thanks for the positive feedback, Doug. David D says, what thickness should a wallet, like 1 or 2 ounce, when starting to make a wallet? It depends on the design, right? So David, most wallets that we make, we start off with like a 4 ounce baseline. So 4 ounces thick is where I would start. And then if you're trying to do a wallet like a Johnny the Fox here, we actually use like 2.5 to 3 ounces for the interior pieces. So it depends on the design, right? Like you'll figure it out. But you know, it's a lot of trial and error just to make things with those different thicknesses to see what you like. Now I can tell you from our experience. Oh, there's somebody delivering a ton of stuff to my door. From our experience, most people think that they want thick leather. They perceive it to be higher quality. Hey, Matt, can you grab the door? They perceive that thicker leather to be higher quality, but not necessarily the case. The thickness for us, like every leather that we do is very tough and durable, and we guarantee the stuff forever. So if you're looking at something from us and you're worried that like, hey, this thinner wallet's not as nice, because you're worried about the durability, I wouldn't worry about that. So if you're buying like good quality material that's thinner, it's not weak unless you thin it down on the edges and weaken it yourself. So you can do stuff like skiving and splitting on your own. Those processes reduce the strength. So you could get down to 1 ounce But like when you get to 1 and 2 ounces, that's pretty thin. I don't know if I would do much with those unless it's like a very special application. Love the XL. That's the one you want. My pleasure, GH. You bought the reverse Frank this weekend to send a follow-up email. Wanted to thank you. Wanted to add personalization. We can do that. Just, definitely send an email to Matt. You just saw him walk past. James M says, had to drive back from Scotland last week and bring the entire full grain pod catalog. It's awesome. Hey, that's really good to hear, James. I'm glad that you like the podcast and we love doing it. New episodes out today, by the way. Looking forward to the podcast. You're a fan. Glad to hear it, Matt. And JW said, one of my best buddies in the chat here. Good to see you, Justin. Hope you're having a good Monday. Chris Diaz was hoping to see a Herbie. To see what your Herbie. Oh, you got a shipping notification. Yeah, obviously I don't have it then. PRP2 said, what is Color 8? It was a fun video. Great job enjoying the full grain. I'm glad you liked it, PRP2. I thought it was really fun too, and it made me laugh like when I was editing it. It doesn't seem like a lot of people want to watch that video. And I think I need to change the thumbnail titles to Baby Boots Never Worn, which is accurate. I'm going to put that like in the thumbnail after I turn off the camera here. I thought that video was valuable too, to show, that Color 8's just a name of a color and like it's confusing. And then we're just trying to explain what it means and that you can translate that color to different tangents. But I'm really glad you liked it, PRP2. I wish people liked it more. That's what I'm trying to say. Color 8 is applied to both shell cordovan and chrome excel. How would it look on Dublin, Cypress, and other tanges? The camera turned off again. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm all tangled up. So if you look at that video or even like the thumbnail of the Color 8, what is Color 8? You will see that there is a swatch book on that table with different tannages in there. And we have made Color 8 Dublin products before. Hopefully this video is back. So anyways, you can make Color 8 on different leather tanges, and we've done it. We own Color 8 Dublin right now. It's very dark. The pull-up is more of that Color 8 shade, but the surface of the Dublin is pretty dark, which is why I don't think people are going crazy over it. It's really, really nice leather, but I think people perceive it as black, and it's probably because I can't photograph it nicely. Oh, you want to see a side-by-side? If you look in that video, Matt, there's a video called What is Color 8? There's a swatch book at the end that has the different leather tannages on a table, and you can see the difference. They're supposed to be similar colors. Yeah, we have a Passport Field Notes holder. I think we renamed it to Field Notes holder that is designed for field notes. Matt says, would a Passport fit a fat Herbie with a hidden card slot? You have to unstitch the card slot a little bit, and you can fit a Passport in a normal Herbie. You can also put a Passport in the bill slot of a Herbie, and it sticks out the top. It's sometimes hard to get it pushed all the way in. Like in theory, if there's nothing in your wallet, you can very easily fit a Passport all the way inside of there. But if you start to add cards and cash, it's sometimes going to be hard to get the Passport to go all the way down. So if you're trying to carry a Passport, I suggest looking at the Traveler Passport holder. And we can add hidden slots to that. You're rocking a Color 8 Dublin Joe Batter. See, there we go. And you got a compliment on it at Trader Joe's. That's all. Yeah, see there, we got Color 8 Dublin. And then Matt watched the What is Color 8 video, and you agree it was fun and entertaining. I'm glad you liked it. Cool, man. Well, I'd appreciate any feedback on what we're doing here today with this new camera. I noticed it's turning off, and I think it's because I need to put a fake battery in it. I tested this out last week, and it did not turn off, but I had a dummy battery inside. I still feel like maybe I need a secondary camera to more easily show wallets instead of doing this, but maybe this is cool too. So I would appreciate like any feedback that you guys have. And then lastly, maybe I need to find a better solution for reading comments, because it can be like a little annoying to like hold this thing close enough to be able to read it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the really good questions. I forgot to thank people that have ordered stuff, but if you've ordered from our website over the last weekend, you probably saw your item here. I didn't pull duplicates, so if there, if 10 people ordered the Color 8 XL Valet trays, for example, I only pulled one of them. So it might not be exactly your piece, but I really like to show your stuff before you get it. I think it's a fun experience, and it's good to chat with you guys too. So everybody that's picked up something, everybody that's in the chat, appreciate you guys supporting us, and hopefully I'll be back again this week, and we'll see you very soon. All right, see you guys. Now I have to walk all the way over here. Look at this. Here, I'll show you this angle. See, there you go. We could do this too. Maybe this would work. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.